Welcome. Thanks for stopping in. We're glad you came. Please come in and find a seat. We are Forefront. We are a vehicle for God's love. Our movement is not limited by geographic boundaries. Our scope is worldwide. We aim to show people firsthand what God's love and grace feel like. We want people to see that there is a God who loves them more than they can ever know. Our methods are simple. We meet people where they are, and we show them love. We do not require bullhorns or podiums or grandstands. When we see a need, we go to work. Living rooms, backyards, alleys, restaurants, offices. Wherever people are hurting, we lend a helping hand, and we listen. We believe in solid foundations that families can look to for inspiration and direction. We do not play favorites or take sides. We play for the human team. We are committed to seeing lives and communities change all around the world. We are dedicated to this to the end. We will not cut and run, no matter the circumstance. When tough times arise, we hold our heads high and we fall back on love. Again, thanks for stopping in. If there's anything we can do to help you out, please let us know before you leave. For now, enjoy the service.
Oh, Father, tell me we get what we deserve. We get what we deserve. And way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. You let your feet run wide. Time has come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the fall, do you dare look him right in the eye? 'Cause they will run you down, down to the door. They will run you down, down to your fall. They will run you down, down to you go. Yeah, so you can't crawl no more. And way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. Way down we go. Oh, oh, way down we go. Oh,
know me. My name's Tommy. I'm going to be your Connections host today. And I don't know where Jason's at again. I don't know, like, is this hide and seek this week? What are we doing?
Yeah, we're not playing hide and seek today, but last week, hey, there's that Connections area. You guys get to see the lobby.
Where are you
I've
at?
been here. I'm actually out in the hallway area because...
Are you for real?
Last week, you looked like you were about to charge down the stairs.
Well, I thought about it. I did think about it, but I wanted to be a good example for our community, so I didn't.
So I can hear you. I can see you on monitors and things, but man, I want to stay away because I don't trust you at all. You guys can see there, and this is what we're all about here at Forefront Church. People helping people to find and follow Jesus. And we're so thankful that you guys are tuning in with us today just to be the church. And church these days looks a little bit different. And we're okay with that there's all of these different methods, but the message is still the same, that God loves us. And we want to be able to connect with you today. So you have a digital way to do that over at forefrontchurch.info. Just click on that Connect tab. And I want to be able to see my friend Tommy. I just don't want to get too close. So I'm going to actually stand right out. Hey, there he is, everybody. Look at that guy.
You're ridiculous.
Boop, boop, boop. And so I'm thankful for all these guys that are doing that. You can see all of our tech people in the back. Everybody wave, tech team, and get a little behind the scenes. But we're thankful that you're able to be with us today. And I'm going to toss it over to that guy right there. I could knock him over like that.
No, you can't, because you're on the other side of the room. Whatever. You know, you guys think it's difficult doing church sitting on a couch watching a TV screen. Try having a conversation with somebody who's not in the room. Let's be real. I'm a parent. I had that every single day of my life. But usually I'm saying, like, get in the shower, stop yelling at your brother. But anyway, so yeah, thanks, Jason, for making my life more difficult. Truth be told, though, it's usually me making his life more difficult, so it's just kind of payback. It's not always on purpose. But anyway, you know, what we want to say, more than anything else, what we want to communicate to you guys is that you are loved. I know you kind of expect to hear that in a place of faith, but we absolutely mean it. You're loved by this community, and you're loved by the divine. This is a safe place for you to connect with people around you and for you to connect with the divine. Now, in a minute, the band's going to sing some songs to and about God, and we definitely encourage you guys to sing along. Be super loud. It doesn't matter if you got a key, because nobody can hear you other than your own kids, and, you know, just chill, relax, no big deal. But before that, you know, we know, like, right now, man, it is difficult. We're trying to, like, every morning wake up, doing the same thing, doing this, like, quarantine, whatever life. And some of us, man, we're like, is this ever going to change? Is it going to get better? And the truth is, it is going to change, and it is going to get better. And that's one of the things that we can find in faith. And so we want to be reminded of that this week with this video. Check it out.
The Bible is not a series of disconnected stories. It is a single narrative in which every story, every character points beyond itself to one who is greater. The story of Adam and Eve is not just about the first man and woman. There is a true and better Adam who passed the test in the garden and whose obedience is ascribed to us. There is a true and better Abel who, though innocently slain, has blood that cries out not for our condemnation, but for our acquittal. There is a true and better Abraham who answered the call of God to leave all the comfortable and familiar and go out into the void to create a new people of God. There is a true and better Isaac, the son of laughter, of grace, who was not just offered up by his father on the mount, but was truly sacrificed for us all. There is a true and better Jacob, who wrestled and took the blow of justice we deserve, so we, like Jacob, only receive the wounds of grace that wake us up and discipline us. There is a true and better Joseph, who at the right hand of the king forgives those who betrayed and sold him and uses his new power to save them. There is a true and better Moses who stands in the gap between the people and the Lord and who mediates a new covenant. There is a true and better rock of Moses who, struck with the rod of God's justice, now gives us water in the desert. There is a true and better Job, the truly innocent sufferer, who then intercedes for and saves his foolish friends. There is a true and better David, whose victory becomes his people's victory, though they never lifted a stone to accomplish it themselves. There is a true and better Esther, who didn't just risk losing an earthly palace, but lost the ultimate heavenly one, who didn't just risk his life, but gave his life to save his people. There is a true and better Jonah, who was cast out into the storm so that we could be brought in. There is a true and better Passover lamb, innocent, perfect, helpless, slain so the angel of death will pass over us. He's the true temple, the true prophet, the true priest, the true king, the true sacrifice, the true lamb, the true light, and the true bread. The Bible is not a series of disconnected stories. It is a single narrative that points to one person, Jesus.
Hey, Forefront, we are so happy to get to be with you guys this morning. And we really miss meeting all together here on campus. But we're so thankful and grateful for technology and that we can gather together online. We're going to take the next few minutes and worship God through music. And we want to invite you guys to engage, whether that means just standing up in your living room, singing along, lifting your hands as you feel led. We just want to invite you guys to engage and worship with us this morning. Let's sing together.
Who am I that the highest King would welcome? I was lost, but he brought me. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. The sun sets free. Oh, it's free. Slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the Son sets free, oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. And you are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. Oh, I am who you say I am. Who the Son sets free, oh, it's free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. And in my Father's house, there is a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. change to come, knowing the battle's won. For you have never failed me yet. Sing this out together. Your promise still stands. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass, and my heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I see you do it again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. Hey, this week, I know that for me personally, I spent way too much time paying attention to the news and giving into the fear and the anxiety that has been swirling around in my head and in my heart over the last couple weeks. And I'm thankful for this next song because it's a great reminder that we don't have to believe that truth, because Jesus' truth is so much better, and it is true over everything. He still is holding the world in his hands. He's bigger than any mountain that we could face. and that he is hope in the middle of a world that's spinning and maybe feels hopeless and broken right now. We know that we can hang on to Jesus because he is the one thing that remains. Higher than the mountains that I face, stronger than the power of the grave, constant in the trial and the change. One thing remains. One thing remains. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love. And on and on and on and on it goes, till it overwhelms and satisfies my soul. And I never ever have to be afraid, 'cause one thing remains. One thing remains. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love, sing that again, your love never fails. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love. And in death, in life, I'm confident and covered by the power of your great love. My debt is paid, there's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. And in death, in life, I'm confident and covered by the power of your great love. My debt is paid, there's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love. Sing that one more time. Your love never fails. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love never fails, it never gives up, it never runs out on me. Your love. Would you pray with me? Father, we are so thankful that you are bigger than any mountain, any struggle that we may face today and any other day. God, we know that the world is still in your hands, that you are still in control, and we're thankful for that. God, we're thankful that your love never leaves us, no matter what we've done, no matter what we think of ourselves, God, that your truth, what you say about us is true. And we know that we are children of God. We know that you love us so much, Father. And even though we don't deserve that, we are so thankful for it, God. We love you so much. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hey, man, thanks so much, guys, for everything you guys do. Man, we say it every week, and we mean it, man. Now more than ever, thank you so much for the band. They put a lot of work in that. Thanks so much for the tech crew. Man, it's a lot of work to put this stuff on a normal basis, but now it's like crazy with cameras, and I don't know, man, it's just nuts. So thank you so much. You know, I think it's very true in a time like this that a lot of us are kind of like, man, are things ever going to get back to normal? Like, and so there's a little bit of like, I don't know, uncertainty in life right now, I would say, for all of us. Some of us are trying to figure out, you know, are our kids going to make it through this? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm at the dining room table trying to help my kids do homework and schoolwork, whatever you call it now, and oh man, like, I don't even know how to handle this stuff. So teachers, man, more power and all that stuff, because this is crazy. But, you know, in light of all of that, I think I want to keep encouraging all of us every single week to remember that this too shall pass. I think it's written by somewhere smart, somewhere important, I don't know. But this too shall pass. Like, this time's going to end. And when it's a week from now, a month, 6 months, a year, when we look back at this time, what are we going to think of ourselves as individuals, as a community? Because I talk a lot about Forefront, about how much I really do love coming here. I love engaging in this community of people. Because we talk about Forefront, we're not talking about the building. The building is great. It's getting better. They're working on it this week. But when I talk about Forefront, I'm talking about this community of people, and that's never more applicable than right now. You know, we can't meet here together face-to-face, but we can meet online, and we're thankful for that. And I love that that's who we are, is that Forefront's not the building, it's the people. And as we come together and engage with each other, even if it's online, and engage God, man, things change. We encounter the love and the hope and the grace of God in such a way that it overflows in our lives, and it changes those spots inside of us, man, they're kind of dark sometimes. And sometimes we just need that little bit of hope. And I love that that's what we get to do here today. We get to focus on the things that are important, get our priorities straight all over again, and I'm very thankful for that. And I think now in a time like that we're experiencing, it's more important now than ever. And so how are you living this out? Are you living this out in the fear and panic and hysteria, or are you using this as a unique moment in time to engage others in love? Are you using this as a time to engage those in your household with love, with more patience? Are you using this time to engage your neighbors? Maybe it's just leaving a plate of cookies on the steps, ringing the doorbell and running, and it's not like a burning bag of dog poop or something. Kids, don't do that. You'll get in so much trouble. I'll get in trouble, but it'll be funny. Anyway, man, I really am thankful for this. I love when we come together, when we experience that, our lives change. And it doesn't just stay in this community of people, it spreads all over this community and all over the world to make the entire world a better place for all humankind. And I love getting to do life with you guys. You know, and it's done in large part every week by the generous giving that's done here. We're going to enter into a time of giving, and we say this every week as well. If you're new with us, please don't give. All right, we want this service to be a gift to you. Giving is for those of us who call Forefront home. We decided to put down roots here, so it's a natural reaction of what happens. So let me pray, and we'll keep moving. God, thank you so much for this time together. Thanks that in the midst of the craziness that is life right now, that we have this time with you, that we can just pause, slow down, and focus on what's important. God, thanks that no matter what's going on in our lives, whether it's now or any other time in the future, that you are always there and you are always constant, that we can always lean into you, no matter what. Thanks for being a good God and somebody that we can trust and lean into in life. We praise your name. All right, normally there are beach buckets in here. We don't have beach buckets, although if you have beach buckets at home, I encourage you to use them. Wear them as a hat. Nobody else is going to see. It'll be cool. Actually, I still haven't seen any photos online of people putting beach buckets on their heads. I'm a little bummed about that. But when we're here, we pass beach buckets. Or now you can give. You can text to give. You can give online at forefrontchurch.info/giving, or you can mail in. Whatever is easier for you. We want to make it easy for you to be able to still engage God in that way as well. But I want you guys to sit back. I want you guys to relax as we jump into our new series, Easter Eggs.
Well, hey, good morning, church online. Watching you guys in the comments, let us know where you're watching from. Make sure, as always, take a picture of you guys and how you are embracing the church online kind of movement that's happening, whether it's on your couch, in bed, wherever. Make sure you got pants on in the photo, though, or at least crop it out. And I saw a bunch of you guys jumping in the comments. We never know what Tommy's going to say. And so sometimes, as you guys were noting, and I saw the face palm from his wife, sometimes the hamster does fall asleep at the wheel, but we love him anyways. In a COVID-19 society, we never know what we're going to get, but we're thankful that we get to be together. And so, again, my name's Jason. I'm the lead pastor here at Forefront Church. I'm thankful that you're with us today, and we're jumping into a brand new series together. So whether this is your first time or you've been with us for a while, we want to look at these Easter eggs. And the way we put this is traces of Jesus across time. That all throughout the Old Testament, we see these glimpses of Jesus leading to Easter. And we're a couple weeks away from Easter. Easter is going to look substantially different, more than it has ever been in decades. And so it'll probably be the first time on record on Easter where churches are completely empty. But it's just a building, and the church is online, and so we are thankful that we get to be together, and man, I cannot wait till the day that we get to see one another and run in like that Chris Farley video that's been going around that first day back in Easter and just going crazy. It is going to be a blast, but until then, we have this to be together and celebrate. And you might be thinking, what are these Easter eggs you're talking about? We're not actually talking about the physical eggs that you paint and dip and all that and dye. We're actually talking about these hidden moments. You find them in movies, you find them in video games, in literature, in plays, these unexpected gifts that are kind of tucked away, but kind of hidden in plain sight that point us to something amazing, something greater. And today we actually want to look at a few of those, but as we do, I wanted to make sure that we pointed you to ones that you can actually watch at home, whether it's on Amazon Prime Video or Netflix or Disney Plus. And so we want to look at a few of these. And the first one is on Amazon Prime Video. There's a movie, Iron Man 2, where a kid kind of stands up to one of the robots that's there. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that. He stands up and the robot sees him and Iron Man jumps in along the way. But that little boy, years later, an Easter egg, and it was confirmed by the directors, was actually our very own Spider-Man. That he was there in that moment watching Tony Stark and all the people, and then years later he ends up being one of the Avengers himself. And so you can go back on Prime and watch that, or maybe you have Disney Plus and you've watched enough Frozen 2 to last you a lifetime. Thanks, Disney, for that one. But, and this kind of gives it away a little bit, if you watch the first Toy Story, there was this kid named Sid. He was the worst. I mean, he was so mean, torturing toys, ripping them apart. But did you know that if you go back to Toy Story 3, that same kid, Sid, that was breaking apart toys, actually is the garbage man, is he's picking up the trash in the movie later. Kind of little Easter eggs showing what has happened before and then what's happening now. Or maybe on Disney Plus, you have seen Frozen, and you've seen Frozen 2. But the reason I love Frozen, the first one, is because I love Arrested Development. You see, the writers of the movie Frozen love Arrested Development, the TV show too, and they dropped quite a few Easter eggs in there and nod to the show, this being one of them. When they were singing that song together, that we finish each other's sandwiches. That's what I was going to say. As I move through it, you got that for free today. That was actually a moment from Arrested Development. It's like we finish each other's sandwiches. And so you could go back, watch Frozen to get you away from Frozen 2 and catch up on a little bit of that. But the next two are from my all-time favorite series. Now, I love Back to the Future is one of them, but my all-time favorite is the Indiana Jones Chronicles, everything that happens. And a few of these are really cool. I remember as a kid growing up and watching Temple of Doom on repeat, and these are on Netflix. But if you tune into Raiders of the Lost Ark, and he's there doing his thing, you can actually see C-3PO and R2-D2 are in the hieroglyphics. They're in there. And so go back, watch that, and you could dig in and see these little Easter eggs and nods back to what is happening. Or the one that I watched as a kid, and not necessarily too kid-friendly, but it's really cool, is Temple of Doom, Onam Shivai, and the heart and all the things. And so you can go back and watch that on Netflix. But in the very opening sequence of them being able to race away, they actually stop by, and Star Wars is a great one, Club Obi-Wan. And so there's these moments where the directors are giving a nod to something else that they love and something that is great along the way. And as we get into this series, we're looking at these Easter eggs. God is dropping these gem moments, pointing us back, these Easter eggs to Jesus. Like we saw in the opening video, true and better, that the Old Testament is chock full of amazing men and women, but they weren't Jesus. That they were giving us glimpses, giving us these dropped gems of pointing us to who Jesus is and what he was going to do. And even as Jesus arrived, people were anticipating this. They were looking all over going, is this one? Because they had heard that there is a Messiah coming. There is one that is going to take away the sins of the world, that is going to rescue us. And one of his friends, John the Baptist, he was hoping and praying, but even he asked, and he sent people to go confirm, are you the one, or should we expect another? Because we've heard the stories. We know, but we've been wanting something better. And from the beginning of time till now, people long, and they've continued to long for a better story. Every single one of us, from back then till now, God, give me something, or should I say someone better. Redeem what is happening, move in what's taking place, because what I see around me is really, really dark. And well, we can all understand that type of feeling right now as we're walking through this. God, you are showing us this picture. God, where are you? What is happening? And we're going to get into a little bit of that, but we're going to be over today, if you have a Bible, in Genesis chapter 3. It's in the Old Testament of the Bible. It's the first book. So if you've never turned over there, it makes it really easy. Open up to that very first book, and we're going to be in chapter 3. If you don't have a Bible, though, we want to make sure that you have an easy-to-read translation. It's so, each and every week we say this, that you can go to our .info page, click on the Notes tab. It has a digital Bible, other ways to connect. And if you have a question today, not only can you drop it in the DMs, leave us a comment, send us an email, but you can go over to that Connect page, click the chat bubble, however you want to, at our .info page, and let us know how we can help you in your questions and pieces. And each and every week, you can make sure that you get the latest updates on what's happening during COVID-19 over at our .info page /Corona updates. We want to make sure we keep you up to date on all things not happening, but happening in a different way. And so you can head over there. But before we jump into this account over in Genesis 3, I want to kind of paint this picture. I need a prop, so I'll lean down here and grab this. We catch up with Adam and Eve. And even if you're not familiar with church and the Bible, chances are that you have heard, or at least come into contact in some way within pop culture, the story and account of Adam and Eve. That God created the first man and the first woman, and they were running around and they were not wearing clothes. And so it was kind of like being on quarantine, that they're just kind of doing their thing. And then all of a sudden, he said, you know what, you can do all these different pieces, but I have one rule. Your house right now, if you have kids, probably has a ton of rules. God said, I just have one for you. There's this tree. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, we don't know if it was an apple tree or whatever, but historically, it's been painted as an apple. And so he kind of just lets them do their thing, name the animals, do all these pieces. And well, so sits this tree. And one day, this serpent came. And this was Satan tempting Eve. And as he tempted her, he said, listen, God doesn't want you to be like him. He's lying to you. You could be just like him. And so she bought into it and she ate it. And she turned to Adam and gave him the fruit and he ate it. And so they were both complicit in this moment. And they realized at that time that they were naked, that they had no clothes. And so they decided, hey, what do we do? What's happening? And they went to go kind of just hide, and they heard God coming. God said, who told you this? Who told you of these things that happened? You had no idea of this knowledge before. And we catch up with Adam and Eve and God's interaction with them and the serpent over in Genesis chapter 3, starting in verses 14 and following, which is where we get our Easter egg from the very beginning of the Bible. Check this out. It says, "So the Lord God said to the serpent, 'Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and wild animals. You will crawl on your belly, and you will eat dust all the days of your life.'" Now, don't miss this, because verse 15 gives us from the very, because you might say, oh, God's kind of backup plan, that God somehow jumped. No, watch this. Verse 15. "And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers." This is starting the lineage and movement towards Jesus. From the very beginning, we're hearing it. "And he will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." So as we jump into this, we see right out of the gate, this is an Easter egg to the coming of Jesus from the very beginning. And now I've heard people kind of raise, well, God must have had to come up with a backup plan. Like there had to be a plan B, because he just made all this stuff, gave him this tree, told him not to do it. He meant, listen, I hear all of those, and those are valid conversations to have. But what we see here in the very beginning is that God didn't have a haphazard plan B to back up what was going on. God knew from the very beginning that mankind would try to do, like we say all the time here at Forefront, that God has a plan and God has a journey and a way that we need to go, and we choose a different path because we think we know better. And God knew this, which is why he already had a plan with Jesus. And we see these gems, these Easter eggs all throughout the Old Testament saying, listen, God loves you, God is for you, and God knew that we would fail because we don't know how to do it on our own, and he gave us Jesus. And for you and I, if you don't hear anything else, my prayer is that you hear our big idea today, that God's plan was always rescue through Jesus. For you and I to always rescue us through Jesus, because, and please hear this, you are worth it. You are worth it. He knows our hang-ups, our screw-ups, the moments that we failed, the moments that we just felt like I am not good enough. And God said, even in, picture your darkest moment, even then, I am for you. I am with you. I love you. There is no amount of brokenness, hurt, and pain that I cannot rescue and redeem and make new. You see, but hearing that is one thing. Processing that rescue is really, really hard. It's really hard. And I want to note a couple different ways that that's difficult. The first one is this. Rescue is hard because we see a broken world. We can see that right now as we're watching hurt and pain all around the world. We're watching it even here in our own country and within our own community, where people are having to practice social distancing. We're watching people getting sick. We're watching people, their lives are ending due to this. And we don't want to cause fear. We don't want to move in that, but we do need to note that darkness, hurt, and evil and brokenness happens all around us. And so as we see that, we might go, God, can you rescue me? Because I'm having a hard time seeing how you're working now. And that's a valid question. That's a valid thought and concern. I know I have to process those, and I'm sure you do too. God, where are you? What are you teaching us? Is your heart breaking with us in these moments? God, are you going to rescue this world and make things new like you said you would? And the answer to all of that is yes. Yes, his heart breaks with us. Yes, things are difficult. Yes, he is with us in these moments. And yes, he sent Jesus to make all things new. The work has actually already been done. But the difficulty that we have, and it's the second piece of this, is that rescue is a little weird for us because we think we're good, right? Like a message like this about needing Jesus, you go, man, that's really great for somebody else. You know, we hear a song, we go, oh yeah, somebody's broken and they need God's movement and God's love. I need to tell them. They need this group need. And so I would ask you, who is your they? When you hear a message, when you hear the movement of God through the Bible, when you hear a song and you immediately think about someone else, pause for a moment. Because what you're really saying is, I don't need to be rescued. That's someone else that needs this movement. And I had the opportunity recently to sit down with a friend. His name's Ryan. And we unpacked his story. And I love it because his story connected first with his wife here at our church before he ever walked through the door. And so let's take a moment to hear Ryan's story.
Hi, my name is Ryan Delacruz, and I've been coming to Forefront for almost 11 years. So my story starts off growing up Catholic, going to church every weekend with my parents. I never really got the message, never understood the message. Once I got into my teenage years, I really strayed away and never really was in focus as far as like what God was doing in my life. It wasn't a real priority to me. It wasn't until me and my wife got together, she basically asked me, hey, do you want to go to my church? And at that point in time, I was still, in my party mode, doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and I was pretty much hungover the first night, the first time she asked me, and I was hesitant, and I said yes. We come into Forefront, and first thing I see is a big auditorium in a high school, and there's a band on the stage, and they're playing music that actually got to me. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. In those dark times, I was thinking more of myself, and I wasn't learning how to be selfless. I didn't know how to be selfless until my wife continually prayed for me to be more selfless and be more of a God-fearing person, or a God-loving man that she wanted. I've battled through so many things in my life, mental health, substance abuse, and if it wasn't for the people I have had here that I call family, they helped me out and just letting me know that it's gonna be okay. It's gonna take time, but it's gonna be okay. It's gonna suck for a little while, but it's gonna be okay. This place has saved my marriage. This place has helped my kids learn. After I let my pride go, everything changed in our marriage. I was studying a little bit more in the Bible. I was getting involved in discussions about faith. I was getting involved in volunteering my time, volunteering anything that I can, so I can just be around people that knew how it is to love God. It's nice to have a place you can go that you know that you're welcome, that you can let your guard down. Even going to small groups or just going to church on Sundays. A lot of these people I definitely call family instead of just friends. Knowing them such a long time, and I trust them with my kids. We've taken marriage classes, we've taken financial classes, we've taken everything that they offer. Just to help us parent our kids. It's been a long road for me as far as being a Christian and as a follower. I never really wanted to speak of faith to anyone or what my faith was, but the more and more I came, I wanted to let other people know that, hey, you're not alone in everything that you do. There's hope, there's people that care about you, more about Jesus and how to be followers, and especially at a young age. Sometimes they get to me like, hey, that's not what it says here, that's not what it says in the Bible, that's not what this scripture says. And that's a breath of fresh air for my little kids and my little girls to let me know that I'm wrong. And it takes a lot for me to say, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm wrong on this part. I chose to be a follower because I've tried to do things on my own for such a long time, and it's led me to dark places that's not good for me or anyone else. And I've tried to just make decisions on my own that's definitely not conducive to a healthy man or anyone. I've broken down so many times, and they've never let me down. There's always somebody here that's willing to pray for you, willing to call you to make sure that you're okay. Or you can call them in the middle of the night or say, I need help. I need someone to pray with me. Can I just get this off my chest? We just love this place. There's nowhere other place that we'd rather be other than Forefront.
Man, I love Ryan's story. But one of the things we don't hear in that video is the time that he and I had to talk, and I got to share with him the story behind the story. You see, before Ryan came, we had a picnic as a church at this park, and out on the basketball courts, his wife came up to me and we just started talking, and she shared about Ryan, who wasn't attending at the time. And she said, hey, I'm just, I'm praying for my husband. I want him to be able to engage like we're engaging, because that's all of our story. There was a time before we knew Jesus, a time before we encountered him. For many of you, you might be there now. Don't know him yet. And our hope and prayer is that you see these Easter eggs along the way, that Jesus is for you, that he's not against you, that he loves you, that he is in your corner. And on that basketball court, Christina and I, his wife, prayed for Ryan. And it was just a couple weeks later that Ryan walked through the door of Forefront for the first time when we were portable at Ocean Lakes High School. And the rest, as he shared, was history. His life has been turned upside down with God's love and God's grace. And that is what happens. That just like when Adam and Eve, through one person, sin entered the world, that through Jesus, redemption and rescue happens. I love the way that the writer in Romans puts it. It's in Romans 5, verses 18 and 19, and it'll be here on the screens. It shares that consequently, just as one trespass resulted in condemnation for all people, so also one righteous act resulted in justification and life for all people. The writer continues on in verse 19. For just as through the disobedience of one man, many were made sinners, so also through the obedience of one man, Jesus, the many will be made righteous. You see, this truth is so heavy but beautiful when it comes to rescue. Rescue is necessary, and Ryan realized this, because we can't do it on our own. You can't fix yourself. You can't earn or work your way towards redemption. There are not enough hours within isolation and quarantine to make your way towards Jesus. It is only by his grace that we are made new. We need him because we can't do it on our own. One of the things that I'm noticing while we've been isolated at the house, other than coming here for an hour in the entire week, well, our youngest daughter, she wants to be like her own person. She's 5 years old, and she wants to do all the things and do it herself. But I'm noticing that time and time again, she realizes that there's things that she just can't do by herself. She tries to get the stool. She tries to climb to things. She tries to open, snacks and whatnot. And eventually, she'll find her way towards my wife or towards me. And, hey, can you open this? Hey, can you help me? Hey, I don't know how to do this. And it's been this constant reminder that no matter how hard we want to do things on our own, we have to pay attention to these drop gems throughout all of time, that Jesus is greater. That those Easter egg moments are pointing us back to someone who can rescue us, who makes us new. And it drives us back home to our main idea for today, that God's plan was always to rescue through Jesus. Always. That was his plan. And why? Because you're worth it. Because I'm worth it. Because we matter. Because we are made in his image. All of us unique. And if you've ever thought to yourself that you are not good enough, I want you to know that God created you because he loved you. Because he knew that the world needed someone like you. And so for us, is in this moment as we share together, it's our prayer that we would say, all right, God, we're going to trust you. All right, God, I'm seeing these moments. Even from the very beginning, you thought of me. He thought of you, and that he wanted us to see these moments all along the way, pointing us to Jesus, saying that you may not be enough, us, but he's enough. He can rescue you, and that was always the plan. And we want to take a moment to process that together. At the end of every service, we take a moment of prayer and reflection, some guided prayers and movement. And over the next couple of weeks, we're looking at these Old Testament stories and what they mean and the gems that have been dropped pointing to Jesus. And so in a moment, there's going to be a video to lead us through reflecting on not only the brokenness that's happened, but what Jesus came to truly do. And so I invite you, just like we have in the last few weeks, to change your posture. Maybe for you that means getting down on the floor and sitting, or maybe it means getting down on your knees. Wherever you happen to be, make this moment different for a reason. To say, God, I want to trust you. God, I want to listen to you. And God, help build in me a listening spirit. Because right now, more than ever, as we're alone in our own homes, the one that we can trust above all is Jesus. So let's take a moment to pray and reflect together with a new posture.
Hey, Forefront, we're going to finish with a song, and we'd love it if you'd let us know in the comments some of the things you're thinking about, some of the things that you are maybe struggling with, or some thoughts that you may have had during worship today, during Jason's message. We're so thankful for this chance to gather with you, and we'd love it if you'd sing along with us. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are, and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Sing worthy. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Sing, I will build my life. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me.
Well, hey, man, I love seeing all the comments and things that are going on there, but it's also, if I'm being honest, and that's right, like we're supposed to be, right, as believers, this is hard. I'm not a hugger, but God's teaching me after a lot of this that, man, we need to give out more hugs. We need to give more high fives and just be able to be the church, or as we see here, to be people helping people to find and follow Jesus. And so if you're struggling with this, me too. I've been getting emotional sometimes, go and clean the garage just to kind of process all of this. No, I'm not coming to your house to clean your garage. We're gonna social distance. But man, this whole thing of loving Jesus and following him, if you're new with us today, I want you to know that wherever you find yourself, God loves you. And if you're having a hard time with this, it's okay. It's okay. That's why we're here together. Jump into the comments. Let us know how we can help you. Send us a DM, like we said, an email, connect. We have to find ways to be able to be together. And for some of you, you may not have community at all. You're tuning in now and you don't have a small group of any kind. We want to make sure that nobody is lost in the fray, that everybody is known. And so if you don't have a group to meet with other people, I want you right now to go to that .info page, forefrontchurch.info, click that connect tab, and fill out something in one of those forms. Say, I need other people. You do that, and our team will get you a digital small group that you can join. But it is, in a day and age where we all have so many tools, it's not okay to be alone. We need one another. Like we say, it takes a village, but Jesus has our back. He is the one that is comforting us in all of this. And so as your pastor on behalf of the staff and all the leaders, we are praying for you every single day. We love you. And this is not the end. This is only a chapter, or as Christians like to say, a season. But let's be honest, this is hard, and that's okay. But we're in it together. You're not alone. God's plan from the beginning was to rescue us. And so what he's done before, like we shared last week, what he's done before, he could do it again. He's going to do it in your life. He's going to do it in mine. We're praying for you. We love you. And man, we cannot wait to see you here online in a digital small group. And one day we're going to be all together, and I'm giving out all the hugs, because we need just to remind one another that we're not alone. Love you, and we'll see you next time.